I almost like don't even want to do an intro. I just want to like, that'd be crazy. No, I'm not going to do one.
Whatever. It's your show, man. I think we already started.
I think we did already start.
Yeah.
No intro for this video. We're just having a conversation here. I'm here with Chris Buchanani. We're just, getting a pulse of the fan base here. I think Booch, someone that consumes probably too much Penn State content.
Way too much, no doubt.
Very involved, in all aspects. How are you feeling today? We are exactly 1 month out from the firing of James Franklin. Where are you at? How are you feeling? Are you happier? Are you sadder? Are you, is all lost? Is Penn State broken forever, as some think?
Obviously, yeah. The program's ruined. The brand is trash. We're hopeless. This thing, which has existed only since 2014, is now right back in the dumpster from whence it came. So just everybody give up. Turn off the video right now. Obviously, only one person on earth could come to this university and win football games. It's never been done before, and it will never be done again. I feel great.
I think this is good. This really does represent.
No, of course. No, I feel fine. Listen, that 1 month thing is mind blowing. I've been through an emotional roller coaster because I don't hate James Franklin. I as I've said many times now, I took a metric ton of crap over many years, sticking up for the guy, stating my position about what I still to this day perceive to be his many strengths and the many positives that he brought to my alma mater and to its football program. And so it was tough to watch Penn State become a school that fires its football coach, which up until a month ago, it had never been in its history for performance.
Okay, really? Right.
And it's a place that has built its identity on stability and patience and coaches who care about more than wins and losses on the field, which James was. And so, yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster. But look, at the end of the day, I'm in Happy Valley, and I'm spending too much time around Mike the Millman, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm pretty positive, and I will tell you, I was starting to get sucked down a little bit by the vortex of negativity that exists online.
Twitter,
indeed, message boards, Facebook, you name it. I don't even go on the Facebook. I barely have a Facebook account. But
I think Facebook is worse than Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, I get sent by other people who are dumber than I am and spend a lot of time on it. And they send me this crap from Facebook, including like the old folks who are getting perpetually sucked in by that robot generated nonsense. And I'm just internalizing all of it. And it's dragging me down and it's making me feel bad. And I'm starting to think, wow, you know what? Maybe our own fans and local media are right. Maybe we are trash. Maybe we are just a bunch of losers with unreasonable expectations. And this place is lower than dirt. And maybe they're right. And then I got inside Beaver Stadium on Saturday, and I saw what happened in the fourth quarter of that game. And I looked around at all my fellow Penn Staters filling the place up for a lousy 3-6 team, screaming their heads off and making even wise-ass Kurt Signetti's butthole tighten up a little bit, that maybe he had bitten off a little bit more than he could chew. And it was only the miserable jinx, curse, snake-bitten season that Penn State is having that allowed him to escape there still undefeated. And I thought, man, you know what? Everything that made this place great for 150 years, and if I'm frank, way before they even decided to put a cow college in the middle of cow pastures and cornfields, everything that made it awesome and resilient as hell. I might remind you, Landon, and thereby the audience, that Penn State has survived quite a bit worse than one lousy season and one football coach getting fired and been just fine. It's all still here. It's been here. And guess what? As all of our goldfish brains are just completely captured by the infinitely disposable 24/7 news cycle, it may not feel like it right now in the moment, but it's still going to be here for the next guy who, once we have finality, we are all about to get super excited about, and so are our many multimillionaire donors. And it's going to be there for him to take advantage of. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Don't get sucked in by the negative vortex.
All right, so being real as you are right now, let's talk about where we are at, though, in this coaching search. Did you expect some more clarity a month later? I think there was a lot of relief from the majority of the fan base, and I'll just say from my comment section, because I did a video with producer Jesse, and we were giving our overreactions, and one of his overreactions was, it was a catastrophic mistake to fire James Franklin when we did. And I don't think, there is so many comments on that video. I think there's like 200 comments, and I'd say about 150 of them are saying absolutely not. Thank God we got rid of him. All that. But are you? I don't know. Where are you at now? Are you still happy with that decision? Are you worried that we still don't have anything materializing as far as a new head coach? There's really no smoke around anybody, and we're probably gonna have to name a head coach in just about 3 weeks. So where are you at from that standpoint?
Well, to answer the question you opened with, did I expect there to be clarity at this time? No, absolutely not. And it's the pace of the news cycle we just spent some time talking about that led anyone to believe we're going to can James Franklin. And then because I've been relentlessly scrolling through Twitter or looking at every, new hot board, coaching hot board. And listen, if that's how you make your living, God love you. I understand.
I saw someone say, I'm really getting fed up with 24/7 because there's not enough updates. And I'm like, what? I'm like, where do you want the updates to come from? Listen, just thin air.
You got to make hay while the sun shines. I understand it. But there's just not that much to say. I get it. So again, all of our brains are like, where's the dopamine? It's been a month since you fired him. Why don't we have the new guy? No, I didn't expect there to be any clarity. And I'm thrilled, in fact, that this is not a leaky ship where a lot of information is getting out. The fact that we don't have a sense of what's going on inside the tight circle of decision makers at Penn State, led by Pat Kraft, who are going to make this make no mistake, is an absolutely critical decision. Now, I talk about the resiliency of Penn State, which is without equal, will survive no matter what, and probably thrive in most conditions. But there is potential for us to give ourselves a real black eye here and really screw this up if we don't do it right. So I like that we're taking our time and casting a wide net and doing our due diligence. So the fact that I don't have a lot of visibility into that process actually makes me feel good. Because if Joe Schmo knows what Pat Kraft is doing every day in the head coaching search, it probably means we're screwing it up, right? So you just got to have a little patience. It's fine.
Do you have full confidence in Pat Kraft? Because I think there's people, this is a real thing, that, like you said, they're not getting the dopamine hit of, we got our guy, or it's 95% this dude. And people are starting to be like, because there was tons of confidence right away from Twitter, from Facebook, from all those just horrific places that I spend almost all of my time on, of just, Pat Kraft's got us. This is awesome. He got up Monday before Terry got up, gave great speeches, even shed a tear for Drew Aller. And it was like, we're behind him. And it's like, because we haven't had anything, come to the surface of, we have this coach, waiting in the wings, I'm starting to see people be like, what is he doing? What's going on?
The president didn't get shot again? You want me to still be talking about that? That was a month ago. Who cares, right? Yeah, no, I get it. Do I have full confidence in Pat Kraft? Absolutely not. I think you'd be a fool to have full confidence in him. We don't know. I don't know. I have a reasonable amount of confidence in him. There are many things I like about Pat Kraft as an athletic director. The way I describe it is, as I sit here today, I think he's a net positive for Penn State. Now, there are some things I've observed that lead me to wonder. And certainly, if you live in State College, there is a never-ending, ever-churning rumor mill, which is almost 100% horse shit, that you nevertheless hear things. And you just, you should listen to everything and believe nothing with 100% credulity.
For those that don't live here, it is such a different world. Like, let me just tell you, we were just at the cheese shop. Yeah. We were just at the cheese shop. Just, those conversations alone, and this is just an extension of our cheese shop talk at this point.
I'll tell you what, I sat in the cheese shop this morning. Shout out to the cheese shop, statecollegecoffee.com. Get yourself some great beans. I got a much more reliable, useful piece of insight into something that is going on with the coaching landscape in college football than I have seen published anywhere else. Now, it's for my own edification. It's not for your audience. Sorry. Go, look, 247 needs the money. Go get your dopamine hit there. But that's the point. It is a small town. And again, if you don't like that, if you're not into that environment, like, coach somewhere else, live somewhere else. But it is for a lot of people. And for the people who love what State College has to offer in abundance, it is one of the best places like it on earth. So it's not a knock on Pat Kraft to say that I don't have 100% confidence in him. I think it's a compliment for me to say that I have more confidence than I have skepticism. What has he done to earn that? Respect has to be earned, or what is it worth? What has he done to earn 100% confidence? I think you're kind of crazy to give that. I feel more confident than I feel not. And I think at this point in his tenure at Penn State, that is a hell of an accomplishment, because I don't just give my heart away freely, right? So you got to earn it.
As you should not, Booch. You should not. I feel
like I said, I feel great about the fact that there aren't leaks all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
That makes me feel more confident.
I mean, don't look at the message boards where everybody's got a source somewhere and they're I told you, I can't tell you how many texts I've received throughout this coaching search. It's 100% done. It's this guy.
And it's like 7 different guys.
I've had, I think, 3 to 4 different guys where I've gotten text from someone. I just got a text. I'm hearing it's done on this guy, and I'm like, dude. Oh, I mean, serious. And the worst part was, it was just from some people that I thought generally would normally have solid information, and I'm like, anybody that thinks it's done anywhere, I'm like, you're being fooled.
Well, here's perspective on that, and it's why these things are fun to follow, but you shouldn't take anything too seriously. I got it 100% confirmed for me that Penn State is kind of intentionally muddying the waters. And the other thing is, it's not just Penn State. There are a bunch of other schools that also have coaching searches going on. There are, in many cases, agents like Jimmy Sexton who have a foot in each camp, because they're representing guys who are looking, and they're representing guys who might want to take the jobs. In some cases where one client got fired and another client will replace him. And so they're putting smoke out there. And so there's a lot of fog of war, and it's being intentionally, strategically floated out there. So when you have one of your sources text you and say, I was just told that this or that, they're probably doing it sincerely. They're earnest, because they are just being used to launder this misinformation. It's all part of the campaign.
I truthfully believe Pat Kraft and kind of his crew are, throwing it out to people they know are just going to leak it out. And that's why we're all hearing a million different things.
For Christ's sake, that Kalshi or whatever the hell it is, had Brian Kelly at the second best odds to be the head coach at Penn State. I have a better chance of being the head coach at Penn State than Brian Kelly. But of course, like it's fog of war, and I think a lot of it is intentional. So it's not people lying to you. They're kind of being told little white lies and led astray a little bit. Maybe because hey, this guy's got a big mouth, and it's beneficial to me to cover my tracks. So I might let slip that, I was talking to John Gruden last night, and then I'll just let it go.
Because I've heard, so Eli Drinkowitz is far and away the favorite, I guess you could say, and he's been in it from the beginning. And I have truly, from people that I would say I trust, I've heard both sides, that it's like, oh, it's not even close with him, don't like him, this, that. And then I've heard like, oh, it's a done deal.
Done.
Like it's signed. Like he's already signed. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. You brought up Jimmy Sexton. We're just having this shoot the shit type of conversation here. I need to rehash this one more time of James Franklin getting up on College Game Day and acting like he did not just help create what was the biggest collapse in football history and saying, I don't know how it happened. I don't know what happened. I was shocked. I'm like, you knew what was at stake this season. It was win a national championship, or at least go to one, or go deep into the playoffs, or you're in some deep crap. And you went and you turned around and you had some of the worst losses I've ever seen. And you're going to say, oh, I don't know what happened. And then you get your buddy Nick Saban, who's also represented by Jimmy Sexton, to say those Penn State fans are ungrateful and they have no patience.
Yeah, you know who else is up there and represented by Creative Artist Agency is Kirk Herbstreit and Reese Davis. I mean, yeah, you gotta look behind the curtain a little bit, see how the game is played, and ask, am I slowly being manipulated to look at this like James Franklin got fired before the Oregon game, not after losing it and then becoming the first coach in college football history to lose back-to-back games as a 20-point favorite. Like, he was still the coach at that time. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Like, you know, he goes on College Game Day in a hot dog costume, and it's like, we're all trying to find the guy who did this. Meanwhile, now, again, there are our own fans and our own local press looking at the way this roster is constructed and the situation that Terry Smith is in, and they're acting like he did it. Like, why would Terry Smith and Pat Kraft do this? Yeah, it's just nuts. It's nuts.
I'm curious to get your take on this. We've talked about this at long lengths. I've had a lot of people ask. I mentioned in my show with Jesse, I was like, look, you know, a big reason why he was fired too is half of the donors didn't support Franklin. And a lot of people that don't live around here and aren't in the know, they don't really know what went on. From your perspective,
yeah,
where was the disconnect with James Franklin? Because I feel like this is a conversation that, I'm just being honest with you, we would not have if James Franklin was here. But since he's gone, we can just go full in on this. I know I have my feelings.
You and I might not have it. Horn and I would. And that's why we were, you know.
That's a good point.
So, you know, the worst part was we were nobody's favorite because the people who hated the guy just got furious at us for defending him. I can't tell you how much shit we caught at the cheese shop and Anti-Fragile for sticking up for James Franklin for years, but we weren't sycophantic either. So they didn't like us either. Like James never understood that criticism can be a form of love. It's tough love. And I never understood how somebody who grew up in Langhorne around Philadelphia fans didn't understand that for that fan base, and a lot of people don't get it, but if you're there, you should. The booing, that's an expression of love. Well, I'm going to set high standards for you. You want your mom and dad to set high standards for you, and when you fall short, they're not going to pat you on the back. They're going to kick you in the ass. And that's what a loving relationship can look like. And he never understood that praise and criticism can live side by side and can be, in fact, all one of a larger whole. So I do think that was part of an issue for him. I also think, I mean, again, as much as I stuck up for the guy, I hated sticking up for him. He's one of the hardest people I have ever encountered to defend. I've said before, just to me personally, and this is all subjective, but I found him to be, in some of his idiosyncrasies, one of the most annoying people I've ever encountered. And I think a lot of it was about deep-seated insecurity, compensation for it, with forms of arrogance that I think held him back. And my take on James, watching that video on Saturday before the game and realizing what a relief it was to me to say, oh, good. We are finally going to stop this dance of the seven veils where we pretend like this thing didn't exist before 2014, and how good that made me feel. I realized what ultimately sabotaged him at Penn State was his refusal to accept that it's okay to elevate the name on the front over the name on the back, metaphorically speaking. That on the marquee on the front of the theater, it was okay to have Penn State, which is an institution that has persisted for damn near 2 decades, above James Franklin, and that those things could live side by side, and you could get all the glory and recognition and plaudits that you could want and still subordinate yourself to the idea of something bigger than you. I think that held him back. And I think if you look around the country at every blue blood program, there are the guys who go there and win and understand, man, this thing is always going to be bigger than I am. Nick Saban, not once, never ever felt the need to be treated like he was bigger than Bear Bryant.
That's a really good comparison.
Bigger than bigger than Alabama football. And meanwhile, I look at guys like Rich Rodriguez or Bill Callahan at Michigan and Nebraska. Those guys went in there all bluster, all arrogance. I'm going to rewrite the identity of this thing that got to where it is by being this. This is the identity of Michigan football. This is what it is to be a Michigan man. This is Nebraska, the black shirts. And you know what? If you're bad at what you do and you go in there with that form of arrogance, you will fail quickly. If you're good at what you do, which James Franklin undoubtedly is, you will die more slowly, but you will assuredly die. So that's my take on James.
That was really That was very well put.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm with you there. There were. I definitely see what you mean with the arrogance factor.
And I've been talking about this same damn thing for 10 years now, and I'm sick of just talking about the same thing. So I will admit part of it is just I'm happy to have something different to talk about. I'm happy to find a new guy with new eccentricities to complain about than the ones I've just been having on repeat.
Yeah. I think that was definitely the biggest problem. That's the running joke. If you were in the know or you were around State College, the running joke was Penn State football did not exist until 2014 because there was not a single photo of Joe Paterno. There was not really any photos of the past around in the Lash football building. Like, there was nothing. And that and there's a reason, like, a lot of Letterman didn't come around. You want to be real? That's a real thing. Many Letterman, really the only Letterman you'd see in that building were James Franklin Letterman. There was almost no Joe Paterno Letterman. I know some people will say some of them work in there. Yes, that is their job. And Franklin did do a good job of bringing Letterman around, almost maybe too much, honestly. We got like 20 on staff. But I there was just that lack of not wanting to acknowledge the past. And it's crazy because James Franklin grew up in Eastern PA. You cannot tell me that he didn't idolize Joe Paterno as just a football figure growing up. He had to have. There's no way he did it. James Franklin he was born in 72, so when Joe won the national championships in a 4-year span, Franklin was like 12. You can't tell me he wasn't watching that. And I think that almost digs into the insecurity piece because it was like, I'm the guy that has to, obviously OB was in there, but that was 2 years. He's like, I'm the guy that has to follow this up, and I'm constantly going to get compared to him. So it's kind of like, I'm not like, Terry Smith has said Joe Paterno's name 2 to 3 times at least in pressers in these 3.5 weeks.
And the building didn't crumble to its foundation.
Well, that's my biggest thing. People were like, oh, well, Franklin couldn't do it because the athletic department. Well, yeah, Terry Smith's done it 3 times now. Has anything bad happened?
Well,
Has the boogeyman come?
Look, and I want to be fair to James here because he's a complicated guy.
Yeah.
It is very tough to just have a this or that take on the guy. And I think, again, I don't want to say that I have the instinct to be the contrarian. So when everybody's, ragging on him, I am compelled to defend him. And now that everybody is treating him like the meanie Penn State fans ran him out of Happy Valley and he walked on water his entire way out, that I want to say, well, no, hey, let's remember the bad times too, guys.
Were you mad that he didn't say thank you at all? The only thing he said was Penn State was good to my family. He didn't put out a statement. He didn't put out an AI statement on Twitter, which Brian Kelly, Hugh Freeze did, ChatGPT statement.
Yes.
But there was no thank you. And I understand how sour it ended. And some people said, it makes sense that he didn't do it. But I think you come somewhere, you make whatever, close to $100 million. And the support that we gave him, the tweet that he put out every Sunday night asking for the support, and he got that tweet answered every single time. And to not say thank you to me, and this is coming from a guy that he gave an opportunity to continue to pay for my schooling. I've said a million times, I'm still thankful for that. But I thought that was not a good move to not say thank you.
Personally, I didn't even notice it until Kevin brought it up. And then, of course, I was like, my God, like, dude, you cannot be outclassed by Brian Kelly. For Christ's sake. So yeah, it was a bad look, but I'll tell you what, man, you know what I appreciate in this world and in his profession more than anything? I appreciate a little honesty and authenticity. That's why one of the many reasons Terry Smith has been so refreshing.
Fair.
And look, that guy, there was mutual animosity. That guy was sick of us, and many of us were sick of him. And so I like the fact that when he got let go, probably he was a little bit relieved too. And on his way out the door, he was ungracious and was pretty like, fuck you people. I actually respect that because I think it's an authentic reflection of where he was at mentally. And I would rather have that than ChatGPT generated nonsense. In fact, it was maybe one of the most authentic moments I've ever seen from the guy in the entire 12-year Odyssey, which, to be fair, it really does need to be placed in a positive position in the overall history of the program.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good to be said. And I've said, hell, I don't know if any of my ex-girlfriends are going to see this, but they can certainly attest to the fact that I'm a bad breakup. I'm bad at breakups, okay? And I'm very, very petty. Right. And so this is, I talked at the beginning about how this has been an emotional roller coaster. Man, I love Penn State and I love the stability of it. And you get attached over time. And so this has been like a breakup. And now I am like the petty ex, making sure everybody knows about every irritating idiosyncrasy of my ex, right?
That's a hell of a comparison. That's so true.
This is very different from anything else you put on your channel. I don't know if people are going to dig it. They're going to be like, "What the hell is this?"
I know.
Get more film studies.
Yeah, this is very obligatory. Yeah, sure. Honestly, this is very obligatory podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how much more of this style we'll always have, but I felt this was incredibly needed. I think I wanted this. You do this. This is how kind of you talk. I'm very, analytics and just kind of present the information. So I wanted to do this. We're sitting here with Cheese Shop Coffee. Just talk about the situation.
What a sport, man, that it can encompass all of that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is awesome. It's why I love college football, even though the powers that be are totally screwing it up, and probably the Big Ten is about to drive the last nail in the coffin with this private equity stuff.
Oh my God.
Like, God, please don't invite the vampire into the house. That's how you keep the vampire out. You got to invite him in. And here we are. In spite of all of it, everything from most of the people in that stadium who will never watch this video, who don't know who any of the people we're talking about are, other than James Franklin, they don't know or give a shit who Jimmy Sexton is. They are there to have fun. To the people who are hanging on every message board post and, everything in between. That's college football. And that's why we can't quit it.
Well, there you have it. Chris Buchanani, thanks for coming in.
No, my pleasure.
This was a real one right here. This was a real conversation. It was a fun one to have. So appreciate you guys sticking around for this one. Man, yeah, we're gonna be just fine. Any last? We're gonna be just fine. Go State. Keep supporting this team, this program. Terry Smith, in my eyes, I don't care if he loses these last 3 games. He's a legend for how he has righted the ship. And I think we forget how bad it was after Northwestern. And we came out with some dignity. We came out with effort. And we came out and made people respect us against Iowa. And forever, I will respect Terry Smith for having this team do that. So that's where I'm at. Chris, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.